Hey everybody, happy Monday. Welcome back to another vlog. Once again, this week is just going to be lit review. I'm working on it still and I've moved on, kind of. I mean, I'm still in the first section, but I feel like I've written all I can write about the first subheading of the first section, which was human antiquity and religious influences. And so now I have moved on to colonialism and race theory. Whoa! How Western people are horrible and bad. Still low-key agree with that. We haven't grown out of this horrible mindset. So I'm working on this. So far, I've wrote like a couple of sentences, a couple of references, but I feel like it's going quite well. The way I'm feeling it is a bit of context on the first, colonial expansion things, like when did we first meet native or nomadic or indigenous people? How did we interpret them? What then that did to the idea of evolution and cultural models, linear model, we're the best, they're the worst, and then how that idea then influenced race theory, which was then like the most prominent section of early Neanderthal studies, the whole comparison of them to primitive people, meaning, well, we thought primitive people were naff, so if we compare a Neanderthal to them, then by extension we think they're also naff. Do you get my vision? You get the idea? So I'm just working on this. I'm hoping I can finish this section today. I'm pretty sure I can. And I'm hoping I can also make a start on the third subheading of section 1, which is European sapien superiority and ape iconography, before I go out this evening, because I'm going to go meet Abby and we're going to have some drinks. Nothing crazy, but we haven't actually hung out in like over a week now and I miss her, so we're gonna hang out. Tomorrow I'm supposed to be meeting some people from my module who I've made friends with, remember how I made friends? How exciting. And I'd messaged them about where we could go. I think we were saying about 4 o'clock tomorrow to talk about dissertation. However, neither of them have replied in the group chat, so I don't know what's happening tomorrow, but by tomorrow I need all of section 1 finished, and then hopefully I can start section 2, which is, what's section 2? Remind myself, science, technology and evidence. Because I have my meeting with my supervisor Friday, and so by Thursday-ish, so like midday Thursday, I want to have sent him a good chunk of this so he's got some stuff to read. I need to double check with him when he thinks would be best for me to send stuff over so he can actually have a read of it, because he might say Wednesday nights he's got all of Thursday, which I think makes the most sense. But yeah, it's like the pieces are going together really well because I spent all that time making a good plan. So I'm pretty happy with that. I obviously didn't vlog the weekend because I decided there was no point last week, and last week's vlog ended up being really long, and because I was doing a lot of yapping about the lit review, but also I went on my trip to get my tattoo with my brother, which by the way is super duper crusty now. I mean, it's not even been quite a week yet, but I mean, you can kind of see in the light how it's like peeling, and it's itchy face, so a lot of seals slapping on the side. And obviously I also went on my field trip on Friday, so it was quite a busy week, chocker with stuff to say and film, so I didn't bother filming the weekend. But Saturday obviously I had the day off work, so I did nothing. It was great. Should have probably done some work. I think I did a little bit of work in the evening, but that was it. Not much to mention. And then Sunday I had work, which was okay. It was a pretty busy day, and I had a new member of staff with me, which I was really anxious and like worried about, but honestly she bossed it considering she'd never been there before. Like, she did a great job, and to be honest, even if there was me and one other person who was, very good at the job and have been here for a long time too, we would have still had a very busy, stressful day. So no fault to her, like, we did the best we could, and at the end of it, it was absolutely fine. But last night I literally fell asleep at like 10 o'clock. Jack woke me up, I don't even know what time it was, to go to bed, because I was just like well asleep, like full PJs on still, like YouTube. I think I was watching Curtis Connor's Minecraft stream, fully out, and Jack was like, let's go to bed, and I just took my clothes off and went to bed. Like, I didn't even get ready for bed. So this morning when I woke up, my face so dry, my arm so crusty, and eventually when I did wake up it was literally like 10:30, so I slept like 12 hours probably, which is kind of crazy, but I feel really refreshed for it, which is nice. And today I went to shop, got some really cheap noodles, put some egg in it, and I had some noodles for lunch. I also bought a big bag of Wotsits, which I ate a few of, and then I kind of regretted it because I weren't feeling them today the way I have in the past. But all that to say, let me just get on with my writing. I'm still watching Lost. I've got like 7 episodes left, and then I've finished all 6 seasons. So it's getting pretty tense. It's getting pretty good. So I'm feeling really good today. I don't know if you can tell, I'm in a great mood. And I'm also excited to go out later. So all good things today, all the good vibes. Outfit for the night, going to the pub. Still really disliking how this jumper is navy. I didn't think it was too obvious, but now I'm looking in the mirror, I'm like, that looks bad. But it's what we're wearing, so who cares? Time to go for beer. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Here's my outfit reveal. I've not worn this top yet. I got it on Vinted a couple of weeks ago, and I really like it because it's that kind of like, what's the word, like cyber sigilism slash a bit grunge vibe. So to go with the vibe, I did put some eyeliner on, which I always feel like makes me look a bit dirty at first, but then like it just disappears throughout the day, so I always have to put more on. Same with the blush. I need to, like, reminder to myself at some point I need to go buy a different blush and like some kind of different contoury bronzer shade, because I feel like I do quite like grungy cool tone eye makeup, and then my cheeks are just bright pink, which is fine when I've got no eye makeup on, but I feel like it just doesn't match. And then obviously just my brown corduroys from Urban. These are honestly the best purchase I've ever made. I got them in the sale sometime towards the end of last year, I think. And honestly, I would buy another one in a different colour in a heartbeat, because you know how much I love corduroys. And to be fair, actually, no, I shouldn't buy any more because I have got 2 pairs of corduroys in my drawer that I have just not picked up since I've had these ones because I can't stop wearing them. But I just love how they fit. Like, it's a shoelace tie, so you can have it as tight and as loose, high as low as you want. Massive pockets, and they're baggy. Although I did also have to do a crazy sewing job on the bottom because they were way too long. So I don't know, pros and cons, but I love them. This top, I think, is also originally Urban Outfitters, but again, I got it on Vinted, and I like the outfit. And look, I can have my tattoo out. I feel very cool. I am though very very warm because we've had the heating on, and I feel like I'm getting a sweat tash. So I actually can't wait to leave the house, but it's too early yet. Can you see the sweat tash? Calm down, girl. It's like 14 degrees outside, but it's really windy, so I'm probably gonna be cold as soon as I get out there. So for that, I'm gonna take this little jumper. It's a really thin one, but it's like a V-neck, so you can kind of see some of this top, which I like. I usually wear like a strappy vest top with it because it kind of goes off the shoulder, but I wanted to be able to just wear a normal top. And let me tell you what I'm doing. So I'm going to meet my 2 friends from my course, and we're going to go to Fosgate Taps. Now, both of them are new to York in the sense like they came here to do their masters, so I don't know if they knew exactly where to go or what to do. So I suggested Fosgate Taps because even though it's like a pub, during the day they do like normal food and drinks and stuff. Like, you don't have to just go there to drink beer. But it's also like quite light and airy. They've got lots of like bigger tables too, which I thought was ideal for like laptops out kind of vibe, because we're going to be, I think, kind of talking about dissertations and stuff and just talking to each other about what we're doing. Because sometimes it helps just to sit and talk to somebody and talk about what you're researching or doing, so that you can kind of help and give each other some advice if you need it. So I'm supposed to be meeting them at like 2 o'clock, and it's just 1 o'clock now. I think it won't take me longer than half an hour to get there. Probably won't even take half an hour. So I'm ready too early once again. But it's much better than rushing, I think. So I might honestly leave in like 20 minutes and then just really slow stroll so I don't get like sweaty, because I'm fucking sweaty now. So I need to like calm down, cool down. Um, but yeah, so I'm gonna go, and I'll talk to you about that later, I think. Oh, and last night, I didn't actually say what we did. So we went to the pub. We only had 2 pints, so I was literally home by like 10:30. Which in some ways I was a bit disappointed because I was in the brain for 1 million beers. But it was probably for the best, to be honest, because that wasn't necessary, was it really? It was just about hanging out. So, think about that in future, Michaela. And then I also finished Lost yesterday. The ending was very good. I think I would still put it on S tier. I think the ending could have been better, but for how much I loved the show for all 6 seasons, it gets an S tier. I loved it. So I've now started watching Charmed, which was on my like to watch list. I have watched like quite a few of the episodes here and there because I used to watch it as a kid when I get ready for school. Like the TV in my bedroom, it wasn't like connected to Sky or anything, so it was just like connected to the satellite, and like you don't get very many TV options on a satellite. So I used to watch some episodes of Charmed in the morning or Most Haunted. If you guys have ever watched Most Haunted, please tell me because it's so shit. But when I was like 12, it scared me and it was good. So anyway, I started watching Charmed, really been enjoying that. So I'm just honestly, I want to come back home to watch some more. I almost put it on and I was like, no, I'm gonna get distracted. But it's really funny because it's like 90s witch. It's very like Buffy the Vampire Slayer vibes, but rather than vampires, it's witches, you know. Um, but like the visuals and like the, what do you call it? The like VR effects and things, they're so bad, but it's like nostalgic and fun, you know. In terms of lit review, I finished the first and second subheadings of the first section now, so I just need to start the third one. And before I go out now, I need to email my supervisor and ask him when he would prefer I send him a draft over. I have a feeling he's going to say Wednesday night, which is tomorrow, so that's fair. Because I don't think I'm going to be out with these guys too long. How much can we talk about lit review and dissertation before it's like you need to go home and write some now, you know? And I don't know if they're like me. I cannot work with other people. Like I'm not going to get no productive written out like useful in this session. So yeah, but it'd be fun. It's fun making friends and all that. Talking about research and archaeology. You know, that's great. That's awesome. So yeah, I'm gonna go now. Actually. Right. Okay. I've made it. I've decided to sit in the like cozy sofa room. I don't know if they'll want to sit in here, but there are loads of tables through there with like actual desks, so we'll see. But apparently everybody decided they were going to be a bit late because other things going on, so that's fine. But I got fed up of sitting around and waiting at home, so I've just come and sat down. I had actually looked to see what drinks and stuff they've got that's not alcoholic, but we'll figure that one out once everybody's here, I think. But is this, sorry, I keep hitting my arm. Is this not like the cozy little spot like next to the fire? Hey guys. Hey Len. Right, I am home now. It's like 7:30. I left the house at 1:30. We went to Fosgate Tabs, and well, me and one of the girls were there first, and the other one, she was late because literally, if anything could go wrong that day, it went wrong this morning while she was getting ready to leave. So by the time she got there, we ended up spending like another hour and a half maybe in Fosgate Tabs. Like we had like 2 drinks there. Like we had 1 coffee, and then we were like, should we have a beer? It's like 3 o'clock. So we had a beer, and then we were all like, oh, is anybody else hungry? So we went to Wetherspoons. We had some dinner, and then we had another drink there, of course. Did we do any dissertation or university related work? No. Did we chit chat, gossip, and share stories like women should in a circle? Yes, we did. So if anything today, I just consolidated 2 new friends. Didn't actually do any uni work. I need to double check what my supervisor said back about sending him like some dissertation work. Because he did email him this morning, and I was like, do you want me to send you it Wednesday night? And then he got time to read it Thursday, and he said, I haven't really got that much time to read it Thursday. So in actual fact, he might want me to send him what I've got tonight. So I need to double check that. I mean, I'm happy to send him what I've got, but obviously it's not quite as much as I'd hoped it would be. But right now I just feel really dry and crusty in my face. It feels so tight. So I'm just gonna like wash my face. I need to drink some water, like I feel just dry. And then go on my laptop and see what I can do about that. I honestly do not feel like doing any writing right now. It could be the 2 beers, but I feel like I want to have a nap, I can't lie. So I might just have a serious chill, and then to be honest, this evening, like I work so well between like 8 o'clock and midnight, so I might just leave it and do some work later, and obviously send him over something if he wants me to tonight. Tomorrow I have my like Nvivo course, so if we throw our minds back, guys, Nvivo is like a coding software that I'm hoping to use for my data analysis for my dissertation. And tomorrow I think it's 2 p.m. till 4 p.m. I'm doing like an online lesson almost kind of thing on how to use the software and just like the basics of it. So I need to be ready for that tomorrow. Mostly that's all I really need to do. I do obviously still want to be able to do some writing probably before or after that, but we shall see. I just honestly want to sit down, I can't lie. Like, as much of a fun I have when I'm socialising, I feel like my battery is now empty and I need to go be horizontal for a bit. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Wednesday. I'm just about to join my Nvivo online class, which is a bit weird. It feels a bit like being on lockdown again in first year of uni, sitting here on a bed with like Zoom open. I don't really know how this is going to work. I don't know if I need to have Nvivo open as well. So I've opened the app just in case, and I'm just I'm not sure. I'm feeling a bit nervous. I can't lie. I don't know why. I've got my little guinea pig notebook here as well, so I can make notes because I don't know if they want me to have Nvivo open and Zoom. I can't also have a Word document open. That's just like way too much on a tiny laptop screen because I think mine is a pretty small screen compared to some people's laptops. I don't know if I'm gonna have to talk because my microphone does not work. I don't know how to get that to work. It didn't work the other week when I tried to have an online meeting with my supervisor. So hopefully it can be a no camera, no microphone kind of day. Regarding my supervisor meeting on Friday, my supervisor has just said to send him over some writing and stuff this evening, so he has time to have a look at it tomorrow. I'll be honest, haven't done anything yet this morning. I literally just woke up from a nap about 10 minutes ago. Um, Not even because like I didn't sleep well. Like I literally was asleep till like 10 o'clock, and then I had some lunch, and the like lunchtime sleepiness just hit me, and I was like, you know what, I've got an hour, have a nap. I think I probably only slept for like 20 minutes, but whatever. We're gonna try do this Zoom call thing now, and I'll catch up with you afterwards, I guess. Right, guys. We're like halfway through this Nvivo session. My lord, does it look complicated? In a like it's old school technology, so everything's hidden behind like drop downs and click abouts and all this shit. Like he actually, well, sorry, she's actually made a really good point here, like the instructor, and where she was like, it looks a bit like Outlook. And I remember when I first downloaded it, I had a look at it and I was like, why is this like a Word kind of Excel vibe? It basically is. It also hasn't been updated in like 10 years, so um, any of the new versions are very like minor approaches to the visualization of the like software, not how it works. And all I've heard so far is it crashes a lot, it breaks a lot. Basically, everything you do in it is going to still be manual. It's just a highlighter that counts. Why don't I just highlight and count myself actually? Because this looks fucking complicated. And like I'm looking at some of my notes from this. You know, it works through like classifications, files, codes. Like you say, related to my work, it's like here is a piece of section of text from this book. So that section of text is what you would call, sorry, is what you call a file. Um, and then the case in that file would be like the individual. So, you know, something about the person who's written it potentially, like when did they write it, what were their opinions and stuff like that. And of course, the case related to the individual has to also be related to your research. Like, there's no point me saying something like their Garden Child is my like case, and then I don't know his book Origins of Man. I can't remember the title. Was the file. Um, the case bit. I'm not going to write like he had 4 children because that's got nothing to do with his opinions about Neanderthals, obviously. So it might be more about like where he sat on the archaeological scale, like processual, post-processual, modern, still a bit racist, those kind of things. And then within that is like the demographics, and that's like all of that information about the person. And then the file itself has also got demographics, which is all the information about the file. So when was the book written? You know, what, like just more context about the file itself. And then you write codes for the file. So you'll be like, the coding is weird. They call it also nodes, codes and nodes. And all I can think about when I hear the word nodes is in Pitch Perfect when she gets nodes on her vocal cords and she can't sing. Um, Not related whatsoever. But it seems like for all of your data, you have your file and then you put it in a classification or a category. So that's like the information about the file. And then you then create classifications about that file, and then you also code that file, but everything is like manually done. And you know, she's inputting spreadsheets with the information on, so she's already had to do that outside of the Nvivo software. The only thing that she's doing within the Nvivo is like making a code. So she's using like lyrics from Eurovision, and specifically the ABBA song Waterloo. And one of her codes might be history, and then a sub code which she calls what she call it, nesting. That might be history. Then the nest is military, and then she's going to highlight the lyrics that are related to military, but that will still be nested within the overarching code of history. But then there might be stuff within the history code that's not in military. I don't know. It feels like a lot of manual work for a software that's a bit naff, that I feel like you could just do independently yourself. And the whole idea of me learning to do coding was literally so that I wouldn't have to do it all myself. But this feels like I might have to. So I'm not sure how I'm feeling about it right now. I've also just received an email from my supervisor about the TAP meetings, which, if you watched last week's vlog, I think it was, where I was talking about what a TAP meeting is. It's like an intermediate meeting between you, your supervisor, a chair, so another member of staff who's like chairing the meeting, and then like an examiner of sorts, but it's not really an examination. They're just going to have read your work and they're going to ask you questions about it. And they want to have the TAP meeting sometime within the week commencing the 22nd of June. And you have to have all of the like stuff sent over to them to read 2 weeks before that, which gives me like less than 4 weeks to have 3 chapters finished. Stress. But also that week of the 22nd is the one where on the 28th I'm flying to Turkey for the family holiday. The 26th now, last minute, I've had to tell my manager, even though he said I couldn't have it off. I was like, I'm not going to be at work on the 26th because my mum booked tickets for see Hayley Williams in Glasgow, which is insane. Obviously, I'm going to go to that. Like, I'll quit my job first. Sorry, I'm going to that concert. And now they want to have this meeting either that Monday to Friday. And the reason I couldn't have any of those days off was because like every other manager decided to have that time off as well. And I'm now just like, oh, I'm only rotated for 2 days a week anyway. So if I say I can't do more than 2 days a week, then fuck off. Like, yeah, I can. If you want me to work on that Saturday, I'm only doing one other day in the week. But now I've just had to email or message my manager and be like, when are we going to have that rota? Because I'm going to have to plan this TAP meeting, as well as this concert, as well as whatever shit days I'm going to have to try to do at work, as well as like book and sort myself out to go on holiday. So I'm feeling a bit stressed. And so that, along with how naff Nvivo seems, I'm not feeling that great right now. But the thing's gonna recommence in like 2 minutes, so I'm gonna have a wee really quickly and then get back on, and hopefully it makes a bit more sense. But I don't know about this, guys. I don't know. Me again, everybody. It's 11:15 right now. I've just finished all of section 1, all 3 subheadings, and it's come together at 3,145 words, which I feel like is pretty good because the whole thing's going to be about 10,000-ish. So if this is a third of it, that's good. Hopefully that means I'm not over the word count. I do think that the third subheading is a little bit naff because the first 2 I've had the last couple of days to re-go over and have another go at. But I'm pretty sure it's good enough for now for a first draft. I'm going to have Jack read it before I send it to my supervisor to have a read at, hopefully sometime tomorrow. But I think this is the best we're going to get for this deadline, to be honest. I am now still feeling pretty stressed in the brain about this whole TAP meeting, which I didn't think I was going to be, but now it feels closer than I thought it was going to feel at this point. In my head I was like, it's probably going to be after my holidays, but obviously it's not. I can't quite remember what I said earlier because I was like on that like 10-minute break in the middle of the Nvivo course. But still, I'm also not so sure about the Nvivo thing. I genuinely think I could do a much faster job on like Google Sheets or something, and then use R to make figures and data from it, because at this point it just seems like it might be a bigger hindrance on its like level of times it's gonna crash and need backups and all this stuff. Like, I'm not sure. I didn't get the most positive vibe from that whole thing. That to say, I'll probably give it a go, but I don't know. I'm not feeling the love for it, but that could just because I don't really know how to use it. So we'll get there eventually. I think once I have my meeting on Friday, I'll feel a lot more secure and less stressed. Obviously, still that week commencing the 22nd is going to feel chocker and scary, but there's still like 5 weeks away yet. So I just need to focus on writing and, that's about it really. But it is making me feel like I also need to think about the fact that at the end of all this, I got a holiday to look forward to. 10 days in Turkey. And honestly, yeah, that's really all I need right now. I feel like if you said to me I could go on holiday tomorrow, that would fix all my problems, but obviously not. At least it's going to feel like a well-deserved one, and not just a holiday for holiday's sake, I guess. Anyway, enough yapping. I feel like I talk too much. Jack's going to give it a read. If he thinks there's out I need to change or edit, I will before I send it off to my supervisor, and I'll just probably catch up with you tomorrow. Happy Thursday, everybody. I'm dressed in my pyjamas, and I'm going to go for a walk to the supermarket because I'm going to buy the stuff to make some soup this afternoon or this morning because I need to put these in the wash anyway, and I need to wash my hair. So I was like, today's the best day because I hate smelling like cooking. So at least if I do it all today and then having everything shower at the end of it, I'll feel like it was worth all of that, I don't want to go buy the stuff tomorrow after washing my hair. That's just annoying. So you can see my little lamp sticking out there. So I'm gonna go get stuff to make some soup, and maybe I'll show you how I make it because it's really flipping good. Maybe I'll actually make a actual soup making video because vegetable soup is like top 10 to have on like your cooking list because, well, the recipe that I make ends up making something silly like 5 or 6 portions, which lasts you like all week. And obviously I'm gonna make it for me and Jack, so we've got basically food to eat all this weekend, and it's so cheap because it's vegetable soup. It's literally like tin tomatoes, some courgette, carrot, some peppers, tin of white beans, like big garlic. It's really like onions. It can also be literally whatever you want. Like a lot of the time if I've got veg that needs using up, I also just shove it in the tray in the oven when I roast all the vegetables, and the flavour profile like very minorly changes. It just tastes vaguely like vegetable soup. It's kind of funny though because I have like I always buy like the 60p tins of vegetable soup which are in like a tomato based sauce and the veg is actually lumpy in it, and Jack will not eat that. He hates it. He's like, that's disgusting. But when I make it at homemade, he's like, oh, I love vegetable soup. So I thought, why not? Because we've actually got like a bag of cut up courgette. When the last time we tried to make this, I just bought way too many courgettes and I could not fit them all in the oven or even in the pot, so we just froze them, and at some point I wanted to use them up before they get like freezer burn. So I'm just going to do that now, and I will catch up with you later, I suppose. Right, guys, soup is made. I ended up making 6 portions and I have filmed the video. So I'm probably going to edit that for the rest of the day because I was thinking, oh, I'll sit down and have a look at what my supervisor said about my first bit of the chapter. Nothing. Radio silence on the email right now. So I could sit here, I'm itching, I want to do something. So I think I'm just going to edit the video because I don't know what else to do until he's maybe said something. I could start writing the next section, but I'm just gonna do that tomorrow, so I don't feel like it really matters. I've had a shower, washed the hair, hence the turban, and I put my new t-shirt on. This is the one I got from Creswell Crags last week. I cut it so it'd be like off the shoulder top because if you remember, it's like a rock t-shirt kind of vibe. So I cut the shoulders off just so, I mean, I'm probably only gonna wear it at home, so I don't really care, but it's quite a high neck and I don't do that. Cut the sleeves and then also cropped the top. So yeah, this is what it looks like. Ignore the fact I rolled my pants down. I really hate having high-waisted pants on anymore. So yeah, I'm gonna edit my video and then probably just chillax for the rest of the evening. If I have a lot to say, I will, but probably don't have anything to say. Today's just been a cooking and kind of chill kind of day. I didn't want to do much because tomorrow I'm gonna have my meeting at like 10 o'clock in the morning. Probably gonna go to the library for the rest of the afternoon, and then I'm at work Saturday and Sunday. So I feel like it might be nice just not to do anything today for once. Although that could be the mindset that's getting me stressing about the next 10,000 words I'm probably gonna have to write in the next 3 weeks. But one last chill day. How about that? How do I say that? One last chill day, and then it's on. Game's on. Happy Thursday, everybody. Bit of a weird time to start talking to you right now because it's 8:30. I had my meeting at 10 o'clock with my supervisor. Ended up running till after 12 o'clock. So I missed my library booking entirely because I'd gone for like 11:15, and you have a half an hour window to book in before they cancel it. So that was a bit of a bummer, but honestly, not the end of the world because I actually needed to go into town. So I did that. And then by the time I came back here, it was like after 2 o'clock, and I just was overcome with the need for a nap. So I had one, and I woke up, and it was like 7:15. So I've just had my dinner, and now I'm sitting down to talk to you and also do some work, which is crazy because I've got to get up tomorrow morning in 12 hours to go to my actual job. But I just wanted to say, like, talk to you about what we spoke about in our little meeting, just because a little meeting, quite a big meeting, because loads of stuff is going on right now. So first things first, he read my first bit of my literature review, and he said it was really good. He was being heavily critical, to be fair, of like certain bits, which I asked him to be. Like, I want him. They're always like, don't say that, but I want them to tear it apart. Do you know what I mean? I like want a supervisor to read my work and just like shred it a little bit because I know as a lit review writer, the second time I've done this, well, third time actually, I know that it's never going to be what it should be the first time round. So actually, the sooner you can rip it to shreds for me, the quicker I can probably get it to that finalized process. So, with that in mind, we then had to consider this TAP meeting, which I keep saying TAP, but I've never actually said what it is. It's a thesis advisory panel. So, it's not actually an assessment. It's supposed to be like a supportive meeting, effectively, but it does mean that two other members of staff who are not my supervisor are going to have read it. Good news is I know one of them quite well. She taught me a lot of the bioarc modules last year and second year, so that's quite nice. So I'm excited to see her again actually because I haven't seen her since like May of last year, so that's nice. And then the other lady is actually the woman who was going to be my original undergraduate dissertation supervisor, but for whatever reason, she didn't end up being able to do it. So I got given my current supervisor. And me and him get on so well. He's now, pushed me through to his masters. He's probably going to try and help push me through to a PhD. So it would be interesting now actually to spend some time with the woman who might have been my supervisor and almost like imagine the alternate reality I'd be living in right now if I never had my current one. But for this TAP meeting, I was under the impression I need my introduction, lit review, and methods chapter all finished, which I was like, in 3 weeks, that's crazy. Turns out it's actually a little bit more like entire lit review done, methods plan, and I think he calls it a Gantt chart, but basically like a timeline or table of your progress and what you want to have achieved at different points. And in that would also be things like skills that you want to acquire, like sessions you're going to go to learn those things, all of that stuff. So that's kind of made me feel a bit better because it means I've got 3 weeks to finish a lit review opposed to 3 weeks to finish 3 chapters. So relief there, I suppose. I did say I want to try and get the introduction rewritten out because why the hell not? I've basically planned it all out. I could probably do a good draft of that in an afternoon, so if I've got the time, why not? And in terms of methods chapter, well, I haven't even started writing that plan, but that comes back in full circle to the Nvivo. I spoke to him about how I hated it, and I think it would be better to use an alternative method, such as spreadsheets and R, the coding software, which I've used before, kinda, Jack is pretty fluent in, and there is a member of staff at the university in archaeology who teaches computational archaeology, and he's like a whiz and a boss at using R and handling data. So that's like quite a few people around me who can help support me with that. So that seems a bit better than Nvivo, where it's like some PhD students have been using it, don't know who, but someone has, and it crashing. Like I just said to him, I was like, it looks like honestly bad. And the fact that the woman teaching it said to us, if you can use anything else, do, it totally put me off. Which he said totally convinced him I should do something else. So I'm glad we're on the same page. But that does mean now I need to almost revise my methods because I'm probably going to include that, not necessarily in the final chapter, but for the sake of the TAP panel, so that they know why and how I've made these decisions. For this TAP meeting as well, there is the option to make a presentation, like 10 minutes ish, max 15. He was like, don't do more than 15. I'm assuming the TAP meeting is probably going to be restricted to about an hour, so that totally makes sense. But within that presentation, you're probably just going to, go over all of the basics, like what am I researching, why is it important, how am I going to do it, what are the next steps, what results do I expect to get, what's the whole point basically. Because quite a few of the questions are probably just going to be, what's the point, like why are you doing this, convince me why this is like beneficial research to archaeology. So that's kind of exciting, and I think that should be okay because I've kind of planned it in my brain of like, in 2 weeks time, end of that 2 weeks, the third week Andy is on something around these, like it's like 4 weeks until the thing, but you have to hand four, oh my god, what is it, 4 or 5 weeks until the TAP panel. 2 weeks before, so they're out, you need to have handed everything in. I think this middle week my supervisor's on holiday, so over this week and the week he's on holiday, gonna end up sending him, or like writing and stuff, sending it to him that week he's on holiday. Then that third week when he comes back, I'm gonna have a meeting with him where he's gonna obviously read it and be like, here's your feedback. I'll have quite minimal time to do the feedback before I need to send all of this off. But again, I think it'll be fine because then in that 2 weeks where I can't touch it anymore because it's sent in, I can work on my presentation and also like kind of practice about like the questions and stuff. And hopefully sometime in that 2 weeks before we actually have the official TAP panel, me and him can have another meeting, where we can go through all the stuff again, make sure I'm feeling confident. He said, even have a practice at doing your presentation because, sometimes it's useful to do it to an audience and he can at least be like, I feel like you're missing something, or, maybe get rid of that. It's not worth like talking about right now unless they ask, that kind of thing. Because I don't really know exactly like what to say a little bit. But the meeting was very good because we kind of had a breakthrough in some ways of the whole thing, where we talked through the whole lit review and the plan and everything, and he was like, "Okay, and what do you expect to find out of this?" And I was like, "Well, looking at the lit review, I want to be able to basically answer the Neanderthal problem of the could they, couldn't they debate, and how that debate's not really changed in the last 150 years. Although, like, how it looks is slightly different, at the end of it, it always comes back down to could they, couldn't they? Do they have the cognition?" And so, by going through the literature and like talking about some of the earliest periods, the like middle 19th to 20th centuries, and then into the modern day, we've got all this new technology, but the debate's not necessarily changed that much. So by using language analysis, we can look at papers from the last 40 to 50 years, following things like the DNA breakthrough, radiocarbon dating, stuff like that, where we're still at a point where the evidence in terms of archaeological material and remains has stayed very stagnant, but just to see if we've actually strayed far enough away from that original core argument and influence of could they, couldn't they, or if the argument is actually still the same, and then kind of problematize that, what is it that we're not doing as archaeologists today that's, limiting us from taking this further? Like, what do we need to take it further? Do we need some new evidence, in which case there's not much we can do until we find it? Do we need some new technology that might like revolutionize how we understand time, or material culture? All these things. Do we need a new framework for looking at Neanderthal society? Like, all of those things that we can then problematize in the results and discussions. And he was like, "Oh, that's great. So you've kind of limited what you want to do for the data. You figured out the data thing we were going to do doesn't quite work. So you've already tried to solve that. You got a great plan for the literature review. Your methods are then basically almost there because you figured out the other three. You just got to write the introduction again." And he was like, the one thing that's really come from this meeting is that you're confident, and he was, what was the word, like you have like agency in this research. Like at the end of it, you are the expert in the room. You know more about this than anybody at this thesis panel. You know, walk in there like you do. And he was like, I feel like you know that now. And I was like, damn. But sometimes I forget he's my supervisor, and I was like, yeah. I mean, if you told me that the TAP meeting was tomorrow, I think I'd be like, oh shit. And then why did I do that? Cringe. But he thought it was funny, so it's fine. But overall, yeah, I think we've had a good meeting. I'm going to have a look through some of his comments now, reorganize my calendar a little bit because I've got these new deadlines we've kind of set. And then, yeah, probably have to go to bed, bro, because it's 9:15, 10 to 9 even. And I'm currently drinking a Red Bull. You won't be surprised. Cherry Sakura. So, yeah, that's everything. I've been talking for 10 minutes. So, yeah, bye. Happy Saturday, everybody. I am going to end the vlog here because I'm been at work all day today and I'm going to have to be at work all day tomorrow. So I'm not going to have anything interesting to say about dissertations, thesis, uni work whatsoever. Today was pretty busy, but honestly, we didn't make enough money to like compute the amount of people that turned up. So I don't know what they were all doing or what they were all buying, but clearly it didn't add up. And tomorrow, I received some bad news, guys. So the second property that I work at, we usually have two members of staff on because it's more like a kiosk vibe, a bit more complicated kiosk, you know. Unfortunately, my second has called in sick, so I'm gonna have to run the whole thing, the whole show by myself tomorrow. I'm trying to rope Jack in to come and help me, but I don't know if he will, guys. He said he might, but I have a feeling tomorrow he'll be like, nah. I think it's gonna rain though, so hopefully it's not too busy and I'm not gonna die about it. But it's probably gonna be a busy day. So for this evening, I have got myself a glass of raspberry and cassis Echo Falls, which I mentioned a couple of weeks ago in a vlog. You need to go buy it. It's amazing. Please just go try it. We've got a Chinese on the way, so hell yeah. And I think I don't know what I'm gonna do. Probably edit this. I really want to do my nails, but there's literally no point because I'm not allowed them. I need to cut them potentially too, but whatever. I'll deal with that next week. Speaking of next week, very busy, you know, all the thesis work ever, literature review galore. So I'll catch up with you about that next week, of course. Thank you so much for watching if you did. I don't think anybody did, but thank you, future me, coming back and watching this in a couple years' time. I hope everybody has an excellent weekend and next week, and I'll talk to you probably plenty more in a couple of days. Bye!